Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Fearless Brand Leaders. Today we're sitting down with Mike Germano, Chief Digital Officer of Vice. Thanks for joining us, Mike.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, it's he just flew in from New York, and we're sitting out here in Banff. It's beautiful out here.
Gorgeous.
Why did Vice get together? Why did you guys partner up? Tell the story about
Sure.
how you got there.
So, I was mostly just a wannabe computer nerd in high school. I found the computer nerd who was good, and we were fortunate enough to, I was like his pimp, and I was pimping out his services around town, making websites, and we got in lots of fun trouble. You're 9 years into a company. You have 80 people that trust you for their, make rent. You don't want to tell them, hey, we were just kind of fucking around when we started this thing. And all of a sudden you have a lot of responsibility. And then a lot of companies tried to buy us, and it all seemed really lame. It all seemed that we were going to just sell out to some holding companies so that we can do, Sears washer ads. I'm like, that does not that sounds like the absolute worst thing we could ever do. And Vice has a purpose, and they're hell-bent on it. And it was not only a place for my company to continue growing because, my business partner and I were the only ones there, and, we were the management. We had no mentors and we had no fundraising. It was just us. And as the company got bigger and bigger, we wanted to make Carrot, the company we started, a big international sensation and be able to have a lot of opportunity. But also in our free time, we had a chance to work on a company not only do we admire, but a cause we were willing to fight for. So to us, the coverage that happens in Vice News is important, and more people should see it. So if I can take my developers in their spare time and build, Vice News' mobile app so that more people can get this important content, then we're doing something that's valuable. And so I'm not asking my people to spend extra time because we're just trying to get some more sales and more revenue to help, some holding company that no one ever sees. We're like, you know what? We have reporters in the middle of Ukraine who just got captured, and they're risking that to tell these great stories. And you won't put a couple more hours in to try to build something to help get that story out there. So it was worth it. It was a fight worth fighting. So we sold, which is not a bad thing. So I just want to point out, we did sell our company. So I hate to say, that's the positive part of it. But we did sell the baby we created. But I think that all of our employees were happy. It was one thing where it wasn't a merger. Everyone lost their jobs. Everyone kept their jobs and everyone was more excited. And it allows us to expand for something that we believe in with guys that we want to fight with.
Tell me, I think that attitude that you have is fairly in line with what Vice is all about. They don't give a shit what people think. They're going to tell the story from their point of view, and they're not going to be apologizing for that. Is that something that you loved about it? What was that a thing that drew you to them?
There was no question that I couldn't work with anyone who didn't have a chip on their shoulder. If someone was going to own my company, if someone was going to be responsible for my fate, my destiny, I wanted someone who had been in an even bigger fight than me. And their chip is so big, and they have a huge chip, and they don't even need to have one. And there's something that's always been, I don't even want to call it sexy, but there's something that is not, it's admirable and it's exciting. When you fight for people that have a chip on their shoulder and they're out to prove something, that's something to get excited about.
As we wrap up, whether it's with Carrot or Vice, what are some courageous decisions? This is what this show is all about, is making some decisions as far as strategy, tactics, when it comes to engagement, and how has that paid off for you? Some risks you took that you knew were risks and it could totally fail, but you did it anyway.
So I would say the biggest risk clearly was with the company I started, but to me it was not a risk because going to work for someone else, to me that's a risk because I don't control my destiny. Someone else does. I could be a great employee, but the company could screw up or someone else. And you know what? I'm out of a job or my career path is limited by someone else. So to me, working for someone else was a risk. Owning my own company was not a risk because at the end of the day, I knew I would do whatever it took. And while others look at owning your own company as a risk, it was so safe for me. And I remember, our financial people would look at the beginning like, well, you got to slow down, don't hire so many people. And I just didn't listen. And I was like, look, I want to be right at the edge. Because I knew whatever I need to do to get that next sale or to get that next client or do whatever I do, it would happen. like, and there's so many days that we were like days of burn rate before like things got really, really, really scary. But we survived so many times that it was almost laughable.
Believe in yourself.
Yeah, I don't know. There's always a fake it till you make it, or there's always like a, hey, we survived this so we can do it again. But, we never played it safe. And the reason why one of the reasons why I sold the company Carrot to Vice was a lot of people didn't believe us for a long time. Slow down, or you're not there yet, or whatever. And we got to a point where we're really successful, and everyone's like, you're doing great. Just keep doing what you're doing. And I almost like started getting scared because people were believing in us. Right. And I was like, oh shit, like now that you believe in me, we must be doing something wrong. So like I figured out, like I need to put myself back in a place where I was really scared, and selling my company to Vice and taking that on and taking on for a company of, double, tripling in size every year, that seemed scary. And to me, that made me more relaxed and comfortable than just kind of resting on what we had. Because then I thought, if we were just resting on what we had, we would literally die quickly. Which was not the case. We've been extremely successful, and I think it's mostly because we're just completely insane.
Yeah. Well, that's a great way to end, for sure.
Being completely insane.
Thanks for sharing,
that's great, yeah.
Mike. And please tune in next week for another episode of Fearless Brand Leaders. And until then, stay fearless.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.